For the people who grew up in the 90s, Final Destination has been a part of their childhood. Whether you saw it with friends in a buzzing theater or rented the DVD to watch it during the sleepovers, Final Destination has been a popular choice for a good thriller. The latest entry in the franchise comes after 14 years since the fifth movie came out in 2011. A lot has changed to the 90s kids, but Final Destination brings up memories of the ridiculous deaths, the misdirection, and most importantly, the thrill. The latest entry in the franchise, Final Destination Bloodline, starts in 1969 with a couple, Iris and Paul, visiting the grand opening of a luxury high-rise restaurant, the Skyview. The 19-minute opening act is brilliant and sets the tone of the whole movie. The red herrings are put in nicely, which gets you ready for the showdown. If you have already watched even one of the previous films, you know that something huge is going to happen, and this time, they deliver. Spoilers ahead. If you want to experience the movie fresh, feel free to skip to the final verdict section. There are quite a few similarities or references to the earlier movies of the franchise. Things like death as the unstoppable force. Death has been the main antagonist in every Final Destination movie, and here it's no different. Death has been shown as a relentless force which will not stop until it gets its targets. Then comes the elevator kill, which echoes the Final Destination 2, where Nora gets trapped in elevator doors. Then comes the empty your pockets rule. Here Iris warns Stephanie to empty her pockets, just like Kimberly was warned in Final Destination 2. Remote, isolated location. Iris's cabin fortress here mirrors Alex's cabin escape attempt in the first film. Logging truck callback. The iconic log truck death from FD2 is subtly recreated through sketches. Plane crash. The infamous Flight 180 from the original is featured again here in Iris's notes. Timber or truck crashes. Multiple references to logs and train derailment. They even marketed the whole movie with the Final Destination Bloodline poster behind an actual log truck. I say good job, marketing team. Water rats or near drownings. A scene with RV underwater mirrors the iconic hospital drowning sequence from FD2 and the car wash tragedy from FD4. Now, some people might call this lazy writing, but I think when you release a new movie of a franchise after so long, it doesn't hurt to give a few nods to the previous movies, and it was actually nice to see them. Like every one of the earlier movies of this franchise, this one also starts with a major disaster set piece. The suspense and build-up are all there. Things like the elevator operator proudly saying that the building was completed 5 months ahead of its schedule, and Iris replying, "Is that a good thing?" A kid taking out coins from a fountain. They build tension with showing the elevator pit, a kid trying to throw below a coin from the top of the tower. A few jump scare scenes are provided for misdirection. Now, the audience is ready for the disaster to unfold. The Skyview sequence has that Final Destination signature slow burn dread. You know that people are going to die, just don't know when and who. Iris here acts as the person with premonition, or should I say anticipation, who feels that tension, that something just isn't right. This opening act is not as great as Final Destination 2's highway pileup with a log truck scene, but I would say that it comes as the second in the whole franchise, and that's not bad, right? After the opening act, the film jumps to the present. Steph, Iris's grandchild, suffers from this awful nightmare that she has for 2 months now and decides to do something about it. She goes to meet her grandma Iris, who now lives in a secluded cabin. Iris says that she has staved off death until now by living in this cabin and not moving out in the past 20 years. Yikes. But she is terminally ill now. She gives Steph a notebook which contains pieces of Iris's premonitions, and she tells Steph to use this to save her family. The acting in this movie could have been a lot better. The suspense and build-ups are provided from other sources, But I think the actors who were suffering trauma and impending death could have shown that they were absolutely terrified. Only the younger Iris does a really good job. The others are meh. Tony Todd appears and leaves quickly. There isn't many memorable acting. But Final Destination Bloodlines' main strength isn't its actors, it's the looming fear of death. Like the opening act, the entire movie is filled with misdirection and suspense. I think this is where Bloodline does a better job than most recent horror films. I'm kind of fed up with how some horror films can't even give me a decent scare, let alone the thrill. You see, the jump scares only give you thrill for 2 or 3 seconds, but the tension and uncertainty of a disaster unfolding is what keeps you on your toes, and Bloodline does a great job at this. Bloodline is a reminder that what made the franchise memorable wasn't just the deaths, it was the build up, the misdirection, the what ifs that stuck with you long after the credits. The movie builds tension with small objects, subtle glances, and fake outs. Some deaths are a bit predictable, others hit you with almost no caution. Bloodline feels colder than its earlier counterparts. The early 2000s glossy chaos is gone, the colors are muted. This is what makes the gore hit harder. The pacing of the entire movie is just right. The scenes carry weight, and the build ups deliver. Even the camera work feels more restrained, letting the unease simmer instead of jumping out at you. The film leans into silence and stillness at key moments, making the suspense feel more personal. The final act was done pretty well, but I think they could have used a few more minutes of chaos. There is a twist at the end, but that too is guessable. Still, it fits the story and gives a satisfying sense of closure. It reminds us that in Final Destination, death is always watching, always waiting for its final move. I think Final Destination Bloodline does what a horror film should do, but most don't. It gives you dread, not just jump scares. It makes you anxious about every moment, waiting for something to snap, fall, or explode. It plays with your nerves. It doesn't just show death, it stalks you with it. And when it finally hits, you feel it in your gut. I think this is a really good summer blockbuster and has earned its place in the franchise. You don't need to watch the earlier films to get into this. Bloodline holds up just fine as a standalone film. It may not top the classics, but it earns its place in the lineup. I'm giving Bloodline a well deserved 3.5 out of 5. Let me know if you agree or where you would put it in the Final Destination lineup. Maybe Death has a plan, but fans always have rankings. Thanks a lot for watching. I hope you enjoyed it. Like, comment, and subscribe to this channel if this didn't give you anxiety.